I am giving you a warning. Warning. A new day is coming. Get ready to worship Jesus. I am giving you a warning.
Yes, warning.
Put up there, worship. Jesus Christ is in the air. Look at tonight, the mighty man of God. Somebody big up Jesus.
And good night to Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Hope each and every one of you are having a wonderful night tonight. And a good night to the listeners joining us via We Noise Radio. Good night to you, Wade. Folks, we're going to open the phone lines early. The Honorable Emlyn Pear will be joining us online a little later on. Good night to you, Richard and Paula. To you, Mr. Hudson Macphail. Good night to you, Mrs. Marine Macphail. Hope that you all are having a fabulous night tonight. Mr. Roy, good night to you. My ardent listener that I met in town today, yeah, the guy selling, yeah, right in town there, right close to Sweet Corn. Good night to you, bro. It is the midweek meditation, yeah? Sometimes you have to rise and trim your lamp, eh? I think I'm going to give one more and then we get into tonight's discussions. Yeah, I think I'm going to give one more tonight and then we get into the discussions. And in fact, this one I think I'm going to play especially for my good friends up there in Petit Martinique. Yeah, PD Francis and Maxan and the whole home circle, your father, everyone up there in Petit Martinique. I think I'm going to play this one especially for you all up there and then we get into tonight's discussion. So one more and then we get into tonight's discussion.
In this life, Me trial were many. Some of the time them me know say be a fire in the air now. So no go say we people no go sing it like all me sing it. Here in a feet. Yeah, can't be a foreign people there. Me have been Jamaica for my journey, so me I sing the Jamaica way. And sometime me foot them get weary. Oh, and they feel like I would stumble. I know them are gonna see so. Me know them are gonna say fall. But sometimes when my problem come in a fall, you know me know. And they feel like I would stumble and drop a growth. Me know myself, but the jail to answer leave me. I wish some people that just feel the presence of God tonight. Some people just shout out and walk up your mouth and say, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. But the jail to lands that lead me. Put up your hand and say, lead me, Jesus. It's the hand that lead me steady. You see, I won't leap away while I won't leap past some millions. Oh, yeah. Nothing wrong with that. Put up on hand tonight and say, Jesus, give me grace. That I would make it off the road. Can you walk me about and sing? And after all, declare. Just we have on. Just we have on.
And good night to all of you listening on the YouTube. And of course, we're still having issues with the Facebook. We'll get it back sooner or later. Why people filling up my inbox with this kind of picture? I don't want to see this kind of thing. We papa. night to you, Pastor. I know you're listening.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Let it go on, Jesus, above the season. Give me praise. That time would make it. I'm terror. Somebody give him praise.
Yes, indeed, folks. Yes, you all get more than normal tonight. Nice. So, folks, we're going to open the phone lines, 440-7377. We will be joined by the Honorable Emlyn Pear a little later in the program. So, 440-7377, 347-329-3101. And we've got a call online. Good night. Hello. Hi, good night. Hello. Hello. Okay, I'm not sure why. Caller, give us a call back. Yeah, 440-7377, 347-329-3101. Those are the numbers for you to call and get on the inside. Listen, me and all you fooling up my inbox. Right now, I sure I run out of space. All you fooling up my inbox with this thing. Jesus. You understand? I don't understand what's going on here. Really and truly. Well, they thought I wouldn't talk about it. Not talking about it. Yeah? Because I really don't understand what is taking place there. There are some serious allegations being made in those messages that I see going around. There are some very serious allegations. We have a caller online.
Hi, good night, Sheldon.
Good night, my love. How are you?
Yes, I see that Miss Carter Joseph directing thing to the Director of Public Prosecution to see if they could make, I don't know what charge, if it's a criminal charge, if it's what charge ever it is. But I want to know if that is Miss Claudette Joseph work. I'm not, you have a lot of things more that Miss Claudette Joseph have to see and to get, you hear?
Mm-hmm.
To go before the police and them. All the guns on the port. People killing people. Guns all over the place. Right? She chose to go and hold a press conference on Sheldon for what? Something that we know phone bill, with a phone bill how many years now. But you have a lot of press conference she have to hold that they're doing a lot of wrong things. Tell her go and hold them press conference. Thank you, Sheldon.
All right, my dear. I'm wondering when we're going to see the press conference in relation to the messages that I'm seeing going around. Yeah, I'm wondering when we're going to see those things. I want to know seriously. Yeah, when we're going to have a press conference in relation to what is going on now, because I'm telling you, from what I'm seeing there's some serious allegations that are being made against the Member of Parliament for Carriacou and Petit Martinique. And I mean, as fair comment, you're seeing the documents out there, and you have to ask yourself, well, is this true? Is it not true? Is some form of investigation going to take place? I mean, numbers are there. There are phone numbers attached. And I should think that it would be very easy to inquire and investigate. And they like to inquire and investigate and see what has been taking place there. You're seeing allegations of just go down in place and don't worry, we're going to put it on. Anyway, we have a caller online. Let's go to the phone line. Hello, good night.
Good night, Sheldon. Good night, Talking Points.
How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
On a very serious note, in conjunction with what you were saying a while ago with this allegation, with what we've seen online, I will appeal to our supporters and anybody in particular, please refrain from sharing and rejoicing over such, because here's what we don't want is ourselves getting trapped with the law, right? The AG, if we recall earlier this year, I think it's this year, they had a data, the bill, wherein that you can be charged and subsequently end up in prison based on what you share.
Brother man, we're really trying to tell people.
Let me take your time.
If them people want to share the thing, let them people share the thing. We're really calling and trying to tell people they know. You feel if that was you, anybody would be saying don't share it?
Right. So, but on a serious note, no.
I am on a serious note, you know. I'm on a very serious note. You feel if it was you, any of them would have said don't share? We're really trying to tell me.
Yeah.
Man, watch,
Right.
watch,
So
watch,
hold
watch,
on.
watch, watch.
Hold on, Sheldon, hold on. You see, I take it serious. You know why? Because when certain information was leaked out to the media and certain people was on radio saying that they get information before certain ministers and they were leaking it out, like for instance, things that supposed to be in the government domain, accounting department, and they say they walk in and get information. That's how dangerous democracy was. It's free, but they were saying on radio that they're going. At the time, the Prime Minister was Dr. Mitchell. I don't know what he did at the time. He was Minister of National Security. Now we're hearing same set people, we call a name, saying that they and ministers are friends and their name is entangled with all this nonsense we see now. I am not happy what is happening right now, but it goes to show that the AG, right, who is elected as AG, she wasn't elected, selected as AG and selected as Legal Affairs Minister, choose to go on a press conference Monday morning from cabinet. I ain't pissed off. That shows the negligence, the lack of knowing business, the lack of understanding, the lack of experience. Because the same Prime Minister now, who was then a lawyer and still a lawyer now, but political leader, said this lady is incompetent many times before, right? Now this guy gone again, this PM gone again. Look what is unfolding right now. Sheldon, I wish you Godspeed, and here's what, nothing goes unpaid. Nothing goes unpaid.
Man,
for years,
I am not nice. If people want to share it, let it share it. That's my view.
Yeah,
if
but
people want to share it, share it.
For my grounds,
I'll tell you why.
For my grounds, yeah.
And I'll tell you why. Because there are certain allegations that are being made there that if these allegations are proven to be true, are grounds for the removal of the minister from office. Yeah?
Forthwith.
So you can't say that the public should not be aware of it. The public needs to be aware of the allegations that are being made within those things that we see coming out there. And the public has an interest. The public has a direct interest in finding out the truth thereof. And I don't believe the documents are fake from what I'm seeing there. And there are various modules on artificial intelligence modules online that you can use to test to see if these are fake documents and so on. So they could go and they can test it. They have the numbers there. They can trace it. They can find out. So I believe that some investigation needs to take place. People need to get on top. Well, we need to get on top. Well, I don't want to get on top of that. But we need to get to, at least need to get to the bottom. No, we can't get to the bottom of it either. I ain't going down that road. I ain't getting on top. I ain't getting to the bottom.
Hold on.
Also, but we need to find out what is going on there.
Yes, I think that this investigation needs an outside source. So the powers that be, I think this will should be enrolled by the lawyers, whoever is investigating this thing, because I know they will have some kind of spin and they will have some kind of nonsense about who this and who that and who don't want to jail. But here we go on. I have seen certain things with government still being used. I want a date, I want a time. I was like, Jesus Christ. Mm-hmm. That's pettiness. That's one. Mr. Scott, we have somebody was charged with a murder of a gentleman named John T. Right? Mm-hmm. This guy was found on a beach. Basically,
but we know the story. So, yeah, let's wrap. Yeah, we know the story. Go ahead. Yeah.
Hold on. The guy who is charged with that murder is walking free. Where's the AG on this thing? We are hearing people have guns missing. Charges dropped. What the hell is going on in Grenada? The Prime Minister is not here. The Minister of National Security and all they telling me keep calm. People have a good night, man.
All right, brother. 440-7377, 440-7377. That's the number for you to call and get. So if you like talking about it, are not nice. Me, I got to put on my pink shirt tomorrow. I don't put on that pink shirt tomorrow now, boy. For they to go and call my name, nah, good. Not me that went and signed the Samoa agreement. Anyway, 440-7377, 347-329-3101. No, there are several things that are at play when it comes to what I am seeing there. Yeah? Because it basically says, there are just several aspects of this that are cause for concern. When somebody just say, go and put it on the ministry bill, or meet me down there, or when you see different, this is a serious one. Believe me, that is a very, very serious one. And some sort of investigation needs to take place, because they speak about how public people are asking questions in relation to it and so on, and people are trying to, yeah? Brio, go and put it on ministry bill. What does these people and them? We have a caller online. Hello, good night. Hello? Hello, good night. I wonder if it's on my end. Hello, good night. Hello? Okay, I'm not sure what is up with our phone lines tonight, yeah, or direct line. I'm not sure what is up with it there tonight. Yeah, working good all the time. Tonight you come in, problem. Yeah. But no, something has to be said in relation. It's not something that you just say it fake and you just no. The minister's number is there. The number of the other party is there. Allegations of meet me here and we go there and different things is there. Yeah? And I ain't even going into that other aspect of it. As I say, I ain't getting into that part of it. But definitely something needs to take place when it comes to that. Some sort of investigation needs to take place. We have a call online. Hello, good night. Hello? Hello, good night. I have a feeling that something seems to be wrong with my phone lines tonight. Let me see if I'm getting a dial tone, so I'm not sure what is up with my phone line tonight, because I think that's more than one person that has been calling me there and not hearing a thing. I'm not hearing them, they're not hearing me. So I am not sure why that is taking place. Hello, good night. Hello? Good evening. Hello, good evening. Hello? Well, I think it could be on the other end, because we did get a call and it came through okay. So let's try again. Hello, good night. Hello, good night. Yeah, all of a sudden we phone line ain't working. Yeah, I ain't have a feeling that coming from inside here. I do not believe that problem is coming from inside of here. Yeah, that problem I think is coming from elsewhere. Yeah, but let's try it again. 440-7377. Let me try the WhatsApp. The WhatsApp should be okay. Hello, good night.
Hi, good night, Sheldon.
Hi, good night, my dear. How are you?
I'm good.
All right, you go right ahead. You're live.
Yes, I'm good. I'm just calling to let you know the phone is working.
Well, that's what
yes,
this is the WhatsApp.
To let you know the phone is working. But that's what this is the WhatsApp. Oh, okay.
So let me try the local line again. Thank you.
Okay. All right, bye-bye.
Yeah, let me try the local line. Hello, good evening.
Sheldon, good night.
All right, good night. Right, I'm getting you good now.
Remember only last night I told you concerning the holes in the fish market?
Yes.
Today a lady had a bad thing today. She put gun on you the holes in the market.
Oh dear.
I want the minister of whosoever in charge to come and look at the fish market. It's a very bad situation for a lot of people and a lot of customers. It's very bad. It's looking real bad.
Mm-hmm.
So whosoever here, whosoever listening to it, we want the minister, whosoever from town or wherever it is, let it come and have a good look at the market. We need uplifting and we need place to walk. We can't walk in the market properly. Big holes, the grades are the mash up.
Mm-hmm.
6 people come and watch it already and nothing done.
So let me ask, the person whose foot went down in it today, did they get a scratch or anything? Because I realize there's a lot of rusted metal there.
Well, the lady my guys they went and they called the manager in the office and he came and he watched her and they sorted the thing out, because I didn't go on the top side, but I'm on the top side, it happened.
Yeah.
But the minister who in charge of this, he have to come and say something.
Yes,
They're
I
not
agree.
coming and saying nothing, they're not
Well,
they're not saying anything.
not just say something. It is a situation that needs to be addressed, because I was there. I saw it for myself that you have these holes in the different grill and pieces are board in some area, and the board is rotted away in some areas, and so on.
Yeah.
You
And
have
then
this
the
space in the
outside now
ceiling.
is bad. The outside let it get full damage.
Oh, so it's worse at the outside part. Oh dear.
Yes, and the outside part now.
Oh my.
These things need to address
Definitely.
and to work on it immediately.
Yeah. All right, my
Have a good
dear.
night.
Thank you so very much. Yeah, I know me. Nobody ain't send no bed sheet. I don't get bed sheet. I mean, I'll buy my bed sheet myself. Nobody ain't send no bed sheet for me. I'm not wearing my pink shirt tomorrow. I might wear my pink shirt on Friday or something. I'm not wearing my pink shirt tomorrow. I ain't taking that chance. We have a call online. Hello, good night. Hello, good night.
Hello.
Hi, good night, caller. You go right ahead.
My grandmother once says, misery love company, and I'm living to see that.
Caller, go on. We thought you had something else to add to it, caller. 440737. If you want to add something to it, you can call back. 440737. That's the number for you to call and get onto the inside of tonight's program. You may want to expand. You may want to give a little something on something. No, go right ahead. Yeah, 440737. That's the number for you to call and get on the inside. So it's very simple, actually. These screenshots, they're out there. They're all over the place. Yeah? People have been forwarding this thing from all the US and Canada and the UK and all over, and even regionally, and all sorts of things, that they're spreading this thing all over the place. Yeah? So what they simply have to do is conduct an investigation and clear the minister's name if it's not true. You don't just come out and say it's not true. Conduct an investigation and find out the reality. Find out if it is true. That's all you've got to do. Yeah? That ain't hard. Because all you just do it when all you're ready, ain't it? Yeah. All you just do thing and call press conference next day and all kind of thing, right? Nice. Yeah. Let me hear all you know in relation to that. Yeah? So it's simple. Just conduct an investigation. Find out about what has taken place there. Yeah, because there's a fair public comment. This is something that is all over right now. Who get bed sheet and way Mr. Pink and all kind of thing. Anyway, let's get a call online. Hello, good night.
Hello?
Hi, good night, caller. You're live. Go right ahead.
Sheldon?
Yes, my dear.
Right now, press conference have to go on now. Tomorrow morning they're listening to press conference. Before they think they're ready to go on press conference. Right now, they have to go on press conference. Not only you alone, they have to go on press conference. Right now, I'll listen for press conference tomorrow morning. Sheldon, good night.
All right, my dear. And let me say a special good night to my good friend Anne-Marie. No, not that one. My good friend Anne-Marie in town. I know she's at the General Hospital. So let me say a special good night to you. I know most likely you're listening via device or so on. Yeah, so we're going to say a special good night to you. Well, you said they were supposed to go to the pink house. That is the pink they're talking. I think that was the pink they're talking about when they was talking about the pink house. Nah. We've got a call online. Hello, good night.
Good night, Sheldon. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm fine. How are you doing?
Not so bad, brother. Everything okay?
Yeah, for the time being. You go right ahead.
Yes, man. Well, I listened to something today with this man they have in Victoria. I can't call him. He said he didn't lose his seat.
Oh, you didn't
But
lose?
he said the reason why you don't go to the and they like to hold office. He didn't get 475 votes. When I hear that man this, he didn't lose. He said he didn't lose. I said, but how this man that common sense? That this man have common sense?
So you're telling me that there's
You lost like 400 and something votes and you're still saying you don't lose?
Hold on. So you're telling me that a Grenadian politician is attempting a Donald Trump?
That man was on Donald Trump?
Because if you've lost, you've lost.
Yeah,
If you lose by one, you've lost.
You lose.
Yeah. So if
If
you lost
by
by
1 point, you lose the World Cup.
Well,
And get bad leaks. 475 votes, a lot of leaks.
well, why he ain't just go in the lower house and sit down if he didn't lose?
He
must just go. He must just go and
take a position.
yeah, just go and
I think
sit
I
down.
want to keep position.
Yeah.
But I just come in again too, and I hear you talking about something there. I say I want to hear that. Because that man, I want a one meeting up, one meeting up. What is going on there? I just come into. I didn't get full thing what going on. So
No,
give me an update what going.
No, there are several screenshots purporting to be a conversation between the member of parliament for Carriacou and Petit Martinique and another individual, a male individual, and a very raunchy conversation, inclusive of where they're going to meet and put it on ministry bill and all these sort of things. And I'm saying that some sort of investigation needs to take place. The minister's phone number is clearly visible in the screenshots that are circulating, and also the phone number of the other individual. So it should be pretty easy for the powers that be, if they are serious about transparency and all of that, that they would do an investigation, come to a conclusion, and let the Grenadian people know what is taking place in relation to that.
You see transparency? These men are transparent? Well, these men could just they go copy the idea and they will give us a lie.
My friend, I tell you what they don't say. I don't say that about them.
You're lying too much. You're lying too much. Just before I go, Sheldon, I want to say good night to my Prime Minister, Dr. Michel. Good night. And my MP, Dr. Modest. Mr. MP, try to call me. Tell me who call me. Don't call me at all. Good night to all the MPs. Good night to everyone.
All right, bye.
Sheldon, you have a good night. Sheldon, don't worry. That case is winning. That case is flying. Because that woman put the evidence before he reached in the court. That Attorney General, she put the information outside. This and to the police, she put it outside before. Understand? How you could do things like that?
My friend, you know I can't speak on that particular issue.
No, you don't have to speak on it. You don't have to speak. I just telling you what she did. Even in the press conference, you're not even supposed to be doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Have a good night, Sheldon.
Thank you so very much. All right, 440-7377. That's 440-7377. That is the number for you to call and get on the inside. You can also call us on we've got a caller online. Hello, good night.
Sheldon.
Yes, sir.
Good night.
Yes.
I've never seen a program so progressive like that tonight. But, however, it is important that, we stay focused. We stay focused on the issues that you were highlighting based on what they're doing before.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Yes.
So don't let that distract you, yeah?
Yeah.
Garbage. They're pushing forward, yeah? Yeah, I tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let that distract you. Me and you end up in secondary together, it might know we're speaking to. But I tell you, stay focused, my brother. Yeah? And you're highlighting the issues and the issues that Grenadian people want to hear. And they just want to shut you. Leave that alone. Good night.
Yes, caller, thank you so very much. I had to take that one day. That one, you see when that one coming in there, I must take that particular one. 440-7377. And, I agree with the caller. I just had to say that in relation to that issue, but it's time to come off from it now. It's time for us to come off of that. And I'll tell you why, too. You would recognize that tonight's program has been titled Distraction. Even those screenshots are a distraction from many of the things that are taking place in our country right now. Folks, we have a situation that involves some 56 million US when it comes to the Kimpton by Kawana project. The government of Grenada, they decided that they were not moving forward to defend the case that was brought against Grenada by the former developers, and they paid off those developers millions of dollars. These people spent probably 18 million or 19 million EC, and they got back 22 million US or whatever. So they got off with a set of money. Within the public domain during the election campaign and prior to the election campaign, we were hearing out there. Yeah? We were hearing out there that they were some of the people who were funding the election campaign of the now government, the NDC. Then you're hearing now that they said they are going to pay off all of the investors, and there are over 200 of them. These are investors separate to the developers, and that involves a figure over $56 million. This government continues to remain silent on that issue. We are in the month of June. Yeah, we are in the month of June. And I think my guest is ready, Yeah, I think I got to pivot off a little bit. We will come back on it. But I'm going to have to come off a little bit here because my guest is ready. Let me just bring on Sister Emlyn Pay. But I'll tell you all, I ain't leaving the issue alone at all. I will be returning to that issue. Yeah, I ain't leaving it alone. We have to come back to that issue, right? But we will not allow them to distract us. Yeah, we will not allow them to distract us. We know that that is what they want. Yeah, so we're not going to allow them to distract us. But folks, and pretty soon we should be joined by Sister Emlyn Pierre. I'm just getting everything opened here. Right. Yeah, folks, because it's not just, and I'll come back to the Koana and all these things, because somebody was just asking a question in relation to the screenshots that are circulating. Yeah, somebody was asking a question in relation to the screenshots that are circulating. It is very important for a proper and, if possible, impartial, and I know why I say if possible, impartial, investigation in relation to what is contained in those screenshots to take place. Had it been me, you would have seen all of them jumping up all over the place about investigation. Had it been any of us, you would have seen them jumping up about investigation. Yeah? And the Grenadian people need to call on this administration to do a proper investigation in relation to what has been put out there. Yeah? They need to investigate. It involves the issue of government finances. It involves misbehavior in public office. And if or when the information in those screenshots is proven to be true, that is misbehavior in public office, and as such, the Member of Parliament for Carriacou and Petit Martinique should resign. At least if they have any level of decency, which I am not holding my breath for, they would need to resign. And I think we have Sister Emlyn Pierre is on with us. Hello, good night.
Good night to you. Good night to you, Sheldon. Good night to all your listeners and viewers. Good night, everybody.
Yes, indeed. And how are you doing?
I am good. I'm good. Trying to keep my energy up.
Yes. And I know I kind of get onto the screenshots. I don't know if you've seen it. I know. I hope people ain't said it. But what I would say in relation to it, I believe that some sort of investigation with the stuff that we're seeing there, some sort of investigation needs to take place and get to the I don't want to use that terminology, but get to the end of what is alleged within those documents. So, but outside of that, we know that there has been a parliament sitting last week, and there was the issue of the age for children who are going to school. It was raised, I believe, by 1 year from 16 to 17. Hello?
To 18.
To 18. Why am I still thinking it was 16 to 17 to 18? Give us an overview of what was done and all of that, because I think a lot of people out here are still unsure of what has taken place.
Okay, so let me, as I indicated to you, I'm actually on the road. Mm-hmm. I hope that we can have connection good enough that you can hear me. The bill that was brought to Parliament and passed, as a matter of fact, it has already gone to the other house and was passed. Basically, what it is doing is increasing the compulsory school age, right? So, as you know, the maximum end of the compulsory school age was 16, right? And so this new bill is now going to go into law, become an act of parliament that is going to now require a student to stay in school until they are 18 years old, right? The current act refers to school age inclusive of secondary school. And this amendment, basically, I'm not sure what format the government is going to use. I heard things like sixth form referred to. I heard TAM-CC referred to. I heard new law referred to, service providers referred to. So we have not seen anything that defines clearly what the intention of the government is as it relates to that. But we do have some concerns. And these concerns were not only expressed by us in the opposition, but were also expressed by other independent persons, for example, from the trade union movement, right? And to begin with, the very first concern that we have is the lack of consultation. And that seems to be something that is common across the board with this administration. The feeling that there isn't a need to engage people in the decision-making process. And so we are concerned that teachers were not engaged in any way on this particular subject. As a matter of fact, the response to that was, well, they would not be required to do more, so there's no need to consult with them. Well, to me, that is a pure lack of understanding of the importance of consultation when major decisions are taken. So even if I'm not required to do significantly more, my awareness, right, of what is to happen, how it's to happen, but more so not just being aware, my ability to contribute to the process in terms of advice, in terms of suggestion. I would have thought that the contribution of teachers would have been valued in that way. The contribution of parents, right? It means that for many parents, they would have to facilitate their children staying another year or two in a learning institution. And so before you make an important decision like that, it would have been good to engage those parents, to hear from them, you know, maybe their suggestions of different ways that it could have been done or different ways it could be done. But very important is students themselves. And we like to talk about mental health. And I was making the point that when you have a student turning on their TV and hearing for the very first time that it is now going to be law that they have to stay an additional year or two in school, how does that affect them psychologically? So one would have thought that over the last few months, there would have been engagement at the school level, right? Mentally preparing students for this new development. But not just mentally preparing them, as I said, getting their feedback, getting their ideas, getting their suggestions. And we believe that this is something that should have been done. We are very disappointed that it was not done. And of course, well, I would imagine that some consideration would now be given to consultation after the fact. The consultation is one area of major concern.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask
the
you a
second
question.
area.
Well, no, go ahead. I'll ask at the end. Yeah, I'll ask at the end. Go right ahead.
Right. The second area of concern, serious concern, is that we have not heard anything as it relates to a strategic plan, a rollout plan, something that guides, some data, some information that really would have informed the decision and the approach that the government is going to take, right? So we are not objecting to this. We are saying you're leaving us in a position where we cannot support you with lack of information. we do not have sufficient information to determine that what you are about to do will be in the best interest of all involved. So there is research, international research, that points to both positives and negatives when it comes to increasing the compulsory school age. So there are positives in terms of what is likely to happen to that person after they complete a certain level of education. So it increases, of course, their chances of obtaining a job, etc., etc., etc. But one would argue that there are different models, there are different ways without having to force that child to stay within a learning institution. And I subscribe really strongly to the view that rather than increasing the age, incentives can be provided for students to stay in school. Because right now, as we speak, what the law says is that a student can stay in school up till 20, right? And even beyond, the law says if you have permission, right? If you're granted permission, you can even stay beyond. So the bottom line is that age is not really the issue. We have to ask ourselves, why is it that children do not want to stay beyond a particular age, even if they're not moving on to a tertiary institution? Or we must also ask ourselves, why are they not moving on? So there are students in the last school year, they would tell you they did not go to TAMCC because they could not have afforded the additional costs outside of tuition. So the question therefore is, if that is the case for a percentage of students, what percentage is it? And would providing these additional costs, covering these additional costs, will it now motivate parents or afford parents the opportunity to send their children on to TAMCC or NULO? I always make the point, before free tuition for everybody, we were providing tuition, transportation, tools costs, uniform costs for those said students. And now they do not have all of those available to them, but we are boasting about free tuition. What is free tuition if you cannot afford to pay the bus to get to school? What is free tuition if you cannot buy the uniform to get to school? What is free tuition if you cannot buy the tools that are needed for the practical subjects that you are doing, right? And so we are concerned that sufficient work was not done to explore all of the possible options to make this really practical, realistic, and to ensure that we get the maximum benefits out of whatever process that we want to implement. And I believe that this could have been achieved through consultation. So let us just use the example. Have we done a study to assess the interest of students? And do we have those areas covered as it relates to CVQ and other TVET subjects, etc., that would be available? The service providers, what do we have in relation to the interest, in relation to the market demands that are there? So what kind of assessment analysis was done to say, hey, we are ready to roll this out this year? Because what we are saying is that from September, this now applies, right? And so these concerns are legitimate. When you raise certain things from a point of view that you are concerned, genuinely concerned, people find all sorts of reasons to justify, right? To justify what they would have said or what they're going to do. And we are extremely concerned that we do not feel comfortable. I don't know if this is probably some quick decision just to tick another box quickly before the 22nd of June, right? We are saying what level of consultation went into this to ensure that when it rolls out, that is going to be done well and that the benefits are going to be felt across the board, right? And we know what happens when you force young people, especially at that age, to do something. It would have been better if the consultation was held with these students and you convince them why staying another 2 years is important, as opposed to more or less forcing them, right? Dictating to them that it is now illegal. And the way it's said, it sends the wrong message. Think about a 16-year-old who is planning to leave school in September coming. If I put him sit down and I engage him well and give him sufficient reasons to understand what I'm about to do, maybe, just maybe, you might get his cooperation. But when you say that you don't need to consult, when you say that we have the power to change the laws, to make the laws, and the attitude with which you say that 16-year-old, he's listening. So research literally shows that in some cases where the compulsory school age is increased, violence increases in schools, right? So while there are benefits, there are also serious negative implications that we must look at and find strategies to actually minimize or reduce the risk and the concerns that are genuine, right? And so we are still appealing to the government. I mean, the horse is already out of the stable, but we are still appealing to the government. Maybe you still want to run after the horse. Maybe we still want to do some measure of consultation. We want to find the best model, the best approach, right? Because we are rather convinced that there are other approaches that could yield even better results. I'm convinced about that. There are other models that can give you better results than what is being projected. In my opinion, we have not exhausted all the possible models by engaging all of the possible stakeholders. And so while I do wish the government all the best on this, while I do beg of all those concerned to cooperate and look at it in their best interest, I believe we have lost a golden opportunity to do this where we can gain the maximum output and the maximum benefits.
Let me ask a question at this point, because I know for many students, when they've completed their CXCs, and you know that's a very mentally, that's a very tough time for the young ones when they're doing their CXCs. And so you basically, the year before you actually write the exams is not your own. You're into studies and you have to complete your practicals and all these things. You must have all of that done. So the year before you actually do the exam is basically not your own. You're totally focused on getting to the exam, and by the time you finish writing the exam, you're speaking about graduation and all that comes with that. In that context, we know some students like to take what they call a gap year, where they would say, well, okay, they're going to seek employment or something, or if their parents have the means, at least they're going to take a year and rest before they go back to go to the TAMCC or to go to the new law or whatever. Does this legislation bar these young people from doing that? Is it a case that, well, you come out from this high stress situation and you must go back to school immediately come September?
That is what it does. And you said it there very mildly, very lightly. Mm-hmm. There are children who are indeed forced to take that break because their parents are just not in a position to allow them to move on in that particular year, right? So that person may need to do a side job. There are some persons who do their studies, extension classes, for example, right? So they get a day job and in the evening they do extension classes, right? I would hope that the government would consider models like that, right? Providing the flexibility so that at the end of the day, a parent who genuinely, based on the number of other students that they have in school, after that particular one that you're referencing, they just might not be able to provide, for example, the transportation cost for this one to continue TAMCC. And they may say, okay, you get a job and you do your A-levels privately, right? And I would strongly believe that, you know, somebody would advise that that kind of flexibility is provided, or else you must now say, because I am insisting that you go straight on to TAMCC, I would make everything available to facilitate that. So your transportation, your uniform, your additional costs for whatever other things, that registration, etc., etc. So all of those things, I believe, would come out if we do consultation. But when 2-3 people sit in an office, they might not think of certain things. They might not have had the experience that some people have to understand what their circumstances are.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask as well, though, because there's also the situation within the secondary schools. Do you believe at this point in time that the secondary school system has the capacity to have a Form 6? Because if you're speaking about a Form 6, you're speaking about all the children who usually would have moved on and out at Form 5. They are going to be retained for an additional year or two. And then you still have students that are moving in the Form 1 and the others that are moving up. Is it that, which means that you're going to actually have more children in each of the schools at any point in time? You're going to increase by a couple hundred the number of students in any secondary school at a point in time. Do you think the secondary schools are capable to handle that volume of new people on a yearly basis while maintaining a Form 6 and a Form 6 upper? I don't know if they're going to do it just Form 6 or Form 6 upper and Form 6 lower, as used to be in some schools back in the days. And then you still have Form 1s coming in every September.
What I can tell you for a fact, Sheldon, is that some schools right now, most schools will not have an inch of classroom space available to take in a new group of persons in addition to, right? It is the very reason, and you see, well, maybe they'll figure this out as they go along. And as I said, with consultation, speaking to teachers and principals, students, certain things would be shared, right? So you ask some principals right now why they have been turning away students who are requesting a second year. Go ask them. You think it's because they just want to refuse them, right? And then some people blame certain schools for only taking back persons who have excelled on the tracks, right, or in some form of sport. And that is because the schools do not have the space, right? So if 15, 20 students want to do a second year in a particular school, highly unlikely 15, 20 of them would get the opportunity to do that, right? And so it is the very same reason people are questioning, how will this work? So again, we're going back to model. Some countries, and you would recall, before we went to the Imani program, we explored the model of the National Youth Service, right? And the National Youth Service is one flexible way, right? One way of engaging young people after they leave school and they're not moving on to a certain level or to do a particular thing, and keeping them positively engaged, increasing their skills level and all of that, right? And we are also convinced that if you properly equip the schools, so let's use a school like SAS, for example. Let's use a school like Boca Secondary, right? Granville Secondary, I'm just naming a few schools off my head, where students have the opportunity to do a skill subject at the CXC level. Now, again, another flexible way is to redesign your program. Redesign your program so that the same student at 16 could have achieved a skill subject, have some CVQ on leaving school at same 16, 17, right? So it doesn't mean that that person has to stay another year to do a skill, but you can incorporate that. There are some countries that would have mandated, right, that every student should be doing a skill area, right? So even if you're excellent at doing sciences, doesn't mean you can't learn a skill. And it's encouraged that you do a skill, right? And so those are the concerns that we have. And we believe that they are genuine concerns. And it just appears sometimes that once you raise something, it's seen as opposition, and it's seen as, let us not do it because they said it. Sometimes that's how I feel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes that is how I feel. So you justify why, and when I listen, not just the response, but the tone, so you justify why we did not speak to teachers, because teachers would not have anything extra to do with this. Well, I'm not so sure about that. And even if they don't, you want them to be in the know. So this bill was laid in Parliament last week. And from my very limited investigation, and when I say limited in terms of sample size, I could not find anybody, number one, as a stakeholder who knew that this bill was going to Parliament, and not just didn't know that it was going, had no clue how it was going to be rolled out. And I'm talking about stakeholders who should know, right? And this is not something that we should underestimate. It is not something we should treat trivial, because when you're making major changes like that, I mean, basic leadership, right? You want to make sure that persons are aware. You want to make sure they know the people who are going to drive the vision, drive the plan, who is going to be motivating. You said teachers won't have anything extra. They have to motivate the students. They would have to sell it to the students. Who's going to sell it to the students? The minister going to go into school and sell it to the students?
Mm-hmm.
So it is important to have them on board from the commencement of this initiative. And the commencement would have been not when it got to Parliament, from the very time you made a decision that this is going to be the policy direction of the government.
Yes, indeed. And folks, we're just discussing here the issue of the change in the school age up to 18. And I have my own theories, Honorable Pear, in relation to one of the reasons that this was done. It will have an effect. It definitely will have an effect on the unemployment level, because you can now say that all of these young people who have left school, and that question has to be asked now, how does this apply to the young people that left school last year, that are still not 18, but they left school last year, or the ones that left school the year before, who may have found employment and so on? How does this affect them? Does it make it illegal for them to carry out work? Is it a case where they should be in school instead of carrying out work? How does that work with them? Because there are many young people who may have found a job after they left school last year or year before. How does that affect them? And then if you're saying now that all of these young people, who could number as much as 2,000 or more, between 2022, 2023, and who will be leaving in a few weeks or from secondary school and tertiary institutions, these people had to be counted amongst the unemployed when you're doing your figures. Now you're saying that these people can't be counted among the unemployed because these young people are supposed to be in school. So it's going to affect the rate, the unemployment rate in the country as well.
And that's why it's important, as I said, the reason why you do what you do, right, is always critical. The why. what drives this action. And of course, there are concerns. I mean, even when you look at what is presented, you know that this is just a knee-jerk reaction. This is just something that is not being thought out sufficiently for a rollout in September. And note that we are saying I am not advocating that no consideration should be given to increasing the compulsory school age. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying before you do that, you must have a detailed plan of action. You must have a detailed strategic plan, a strategy, right, that would drive this plan or these details that you have. What is the overall strategy? And we can probably say, and I heard the response to that was the TVET plan. Well, that's probably, if you want to call it, overarching. But what if the specific plan as it relates to the compulsory school age? Because one can achieve all of the objectives stated in a TVET strategy without increasing the minimum school age. And that is the point. The question is, why are you doing what you are doing? Is it to tick a box, right? And that is why I said earlier, all possible models must be looked at, because you may just realize that you achieve the opposite result because a person feel, you know how people respond, the human nature. How I respond if I feel that I'm convinced that this is the right thing for me to do, as opposed to if I feel I am forced to do it, right? That's the human being. I would respond differently, right? If I feel that I'm being forced to do something, as opposed to if I am personally convinced that it is the right thing to do. And so my thought was that energies would have been placed on inspiring, motivating, encouraging, as opposed to taking that hard approach, that legislative approach of basically saying, effective September, every person under the age of 18 should be in a learning institution or involved in some sort of skills training or something of the nature, right? I really do believe the fact that this has already been passed, I am appealing and begging for two approaches. One, that we understand that students are people too, right? And we have to consider the mental health of students too. So I am appealing for a softer approach in the way that we communicate this information to the students. And I am appealing that we take a softer approach when it comes to motivating, selling the vision, selling the plan to these young people, right? Because it would also have, I believe, based on what was said, and in the absence of information, clear information, you have to make assumptions. So I am agreeing with you that my understanding of what was said is that this will now apply to students who left school last year or leaving school this year and are still within the age range, right? Nothing was said to the effect that this only applies to students who are currently in school. This was never said. And that is not my understanding, right? But I'm saying, even if they are still in school, I would say be sensitive to the way that you share this information with them. Be sensitive to the way that you demand that they have to do this. Bring them along with you. Motivate them. Show them. Give incentives. So if you do this, or if you do that, or if you have a CVQ in 2 skilled areas, this is what's going to happen, right? Can they do part-time jobs that you're going to provide, maybe similar to the Imani program, right? That they can get to do on the job training? Do they get an opportunity for a stipend? You know, what are some of those things? Because that 17-year-old who is already negotiating with a family member who has a business and his mind is on work, right? He has, as your people will say, he has something lined up already.
Mm-hmm.
No, you telling him something totally different. Now, you want to make sure these are young people. And you said that to me 10, 15 years ago, you probably would be assured of a particular response. The young people we are dealing with now, they are not the same young people of 15 years ago, 20 years ago. Engage them, massage them, ensure that they understand what you're doing, and ensure that they understand you're not doing it for you and your numbers and your statistics, but you are doing it for them. It's saying it and them believing it is two different things, right? And I'm worried that the posture that I saw, some statements that I heard, concern me that they may not necessarily see it as for their good as opposed to what you want to achieve in terms of your card, your performance card.
Indeed. And folks, speaking with the Honorable Emlyn Pear here, and I know that you're on your way home, so we won't keep you too long again. I did say for half an hour, so I'm keeping you up until 9:30 at least. You ain't getting away until 9:30. So there are various, what you're saying therefore is that there are various aspects of this, because it seems as though this government does things sort of knee-jerk reaction, that sounds good. Oh, we're going to change the age. We're going to introduce universal education. We're going to change the age up to 18 and so on. And that they don't focus or have not put in place, number one, they haven't spoken to the teachers and to the schools and to everyone and started speaking with the young ones so that they would understand, hey, this is the reason this is happening. This is what you can expect and so. And outside of that, the actual structures itself, because when you look at some of these schools, there is no way that they would be able to take on keep on a Form 6 and add a Form 1. And remember, in between there, you also have the students who are repeating at all the different forms as well. Those who are repeating at Form 1, Form 2, Form 3, Form 4, Form 5, the repeaters who are going to remain within the system as well, because they have not performed at the level that they need to perform at, and are told you're going to remain at Form 3 or you're going to remain in Form 4 for an additional year. I don't see it. I don't understand how it's going to operate. I don't think enough thought was given to this process and what is the outcome and what are some of the possible outcomes in relation to this.
Mm-hmm. And that is why the best model, so there is a model that can work to achieve the same goal that you want to achieve, right? There is a model, but you're going to get that best model when you engage all of the technical people, when you engage all of your principals, when you engage all of your students, you engage your union, right? You're going to find the best model from that conversation that you're having. So you don't just think that you want to do this and you're doing that. You may find that you don't know it all and that you need to consult with the appropriate people to get the best model. So what are principals saying in relation to space, in relation to how the students feel after 5 years? Do we want to keep them in that same environment? Can we even keep them in that same environment? Do we want a model that's flexible, that they go home, right? Those, if we have 80% that would go on to TAMCC, for example, because we're going to provide them with the necessary support, financial support, the full financial support. And now we only have 20%. How do we channel those 20%, this 20%, based on the demand of the market and the interest? So you got to be matching not just the demands of the market, but you got to be matching that with the interest as well. So how do we find what are those areas of interest? Have we done a survey? Have we done a study? So I've heard about service providers. So we having conversation with the service providers before we even speak to the students. So what, you going to force me to do what? When I'm not even interested in that because the market has a demand for it? Or are you going to counsel me? Because some students may choose to be A, and after they hear of the benefits of B, they hear about the potential opportunities in B, they may decide. But how are you approaching it? And you mentioned universal education. Well, go speak to the principals and hear what are some of the concerns. And those concerns, many of them, are because of the same lack of consultation. So you're rolling out a major initiative, a major paradigm shift, a major policy shift. And guess what? The people who have to lead the process, they are not involved. They are not consulted with. And then you expect a miracle at the end of that. It's concerning. And again, as I said, and I've always said this, not just as it relates to education. There's absolutely nothing that I would object to if I sincerely believe, that it would be to the benefit of our people, right? And that is why I'm saying, if we're going to do something like that and we say it's to their benefit, then let us provide the necessary information so that one can critically assess the information that you provide and agree with you that is going to be for good. Don't just assume that we're going to go along with you over the cliff, right? Because you're in charge and you don't need to convince us that we are going the right way.
Yes, indeed. Honorable Emlyn P., I don't know if you have any closing words, because I know I probably have you park up somewhere talking right now. Any closing words for the listeners tonight?
I just want to say this, because we're hearing a lot bandied about TVET, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if there is something that I feel very, 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 very comfortable with, is the work that was started under the new National Party administration as it relates to TVET. And it is the only reason that some announcements that are made now could be made because of that foundation and the serious work that has been done in that particular area, right? Now, I want to flag the concern as it relates to the Grenada Christian Academy. Now, that school, when we left office in 2022, as I said before, it was anticipated that within 3 months, that school was going to start. There were just some minor issues to be dealt with, one or two, right? One of those issues, or one of the two issues, would have been the moving one of the persons doing farming on the land, which was not a major one. There was just some things to finalize there. And I'm saying 2 years after, even after the sword turning ceremony, the question is, where are we with this school? Because that school was supposed to be our newest model as it relates to TVET, as it relates to skills training, skills development, as it relates to providing flexible learning pathways for students. Because we said you come into Form 1, you're assessed, right? And it can be decided as early as Form 2 which pathway you should take. So do you do 5 subjects as opposed to 12 subjects? And on top of that, you begin to prepare for that skill area. that is your dream, right? And so that school, when you look at the design of that school, it was specifically designed to change the whole concept and the whole way that people view secondary schools now, right? I'm very concerned what is happening as it relates to the construction of that school. St. David's Catholic Secondary School is another example. I'm concerned, where are we in relation to some of those projects that were well on the way with specific timeline? As a matter of fact, you go back and check the minutes where the Caribbean Development Bank was praising the Ministry of Education for the progress and the speed at which we were moving in relation to these projects. And I am not sure what has happened there. We piloted in 4 of our secondary schools, same TVET. So all of a sudden, we are made to believe that TVET in school is a new thing, right? And that new thing started after June 2022. So TVET in secondary school, students were doing this for exams, regional exams. And again, what is the status of this project? I've been reliably informed that none of those 4 schools are operational in relation to this particular project, when that should have been expanded. So maybe the model is to close it down, shut it down, start it over, and say we launch. I'm not sure, and I'm hoping that because the children should be our priority, that is not what is happening, right? The Centers for Excellence, you quite aware, and you know I feel very strongly about that. Schools must not close at 3 o'clock. So schools should be open until 8 in the night. And we had to remind some principals that the school is owned by the people of Grenada, the government of Grenada. So it's not restricted just to the students who are enrolled full-time at that school. So people in communities who are going to SAS in the night, doing furniture making, coming from work and going to Wester Hall Secondary School in the night and doing general construction, for example. These were evening classes because they were called Centers for Excellence. So what we did was that we contributed, added equipment to what was already there at the school, expanded the program so that the community, those children who would have left school, could have participated. This was the pilot. And of course, with a pilot, you look at where you need to strengthen and move on and expand, etc., move it to other schools, right? Now, those programs are no longer existing, but we are hearing now of centers, new centers for excellence. And we are saying there are many schools with serious financial investment in terms of tools, equipment. And so we are saying these schools can be used as centers for excellence as opposed to building new facilities. Use that money and upgrade the quality of the equipment that is there at those schools. So that is another area that we are looking on, and we are wondering what is happening in relation to that, right? And then the final thing I want to make mention of is the significant work that was done by the NTA over the years. Again, I'm going to ask the question, what is now happening at the NTA, right? Grenada has been, and you know that for a fact, Grenada was recognized regionally for the work that was done in TVET in Grenada, the solid foundation, over 182 occupational standards, and that was back in 2019, right? And many of these standards were developed in response to labor market surveys. So it was not just somebody getting up one morning and deciding they want to develop those. So whether it was tourism and hospitality, engineering, maintenance, and all of those areas, so many persons would have had the opportunity, right? I believe sometime in 2019, when a survey was done, by 2019, over 5,000 persons, right, 4,300, there are about 4,400 people in Grenada were already certified in NVQ and CVQs, right? And so all we are saying, as we have continued to say, is let us build on what is there. No need to make it appear as if you are starting from scratch. You're not starting from scratch. There's a solid foundation in TVET and skills training. And what we are saying to this government, after 2 years, we are not satisfied that sufficient has been done to build upon what you. So we hear the Prime Minister say it over and over, and I wish somebody could correct him, that they are introducing TVET to primary schools. Well, everybody living in Grenada know that TVET was in the primary schools, right? As a matter of fact, since we were in primary school, there was TVET in primary school. We would work home economics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, some years ago, there was a centralized approach that was taken to the practical program, right? I have my personal views on that. And different schools are supposed to be going to different centers for their classes. So my children, when they attended the St. Andrews RC school in Grenville, they had to go down to the Home Economic and Woodwork Center in Grenville, right? And this some years ago. So the program existed, right? What may have happened is that in some schools, they did not replace some of the teachers. And so that was done in the last maybe year or two, right? And in some cases, some schools, because they had some challenges, did not send the children over to the centers. And maybe there was some new system put in place with regards to that. Of course, I would applaud that, right? Ensuring that it's fully utilized. But don't give the impression that you just miraculously introduce TVET in primary school. As a matter of fact, if you listen, I'll end with that. If you listened to one of the launch, right? One of the principal was able to speak about what they were doing there before June 2022. So maybe the term that might have been more appropriate might be relaunch. I don't know. But you can't say you launched something that existed before.
But you know, this government likes to rename everything and then claim it. So, and I believe that's a bit of what they're doing here. They're trying to just rename something and then say, well, yeah, we did that.
In the process of doing that, you want to consider that people are wise. People listen, they read, they observe, they understand. And so you don't want to be trying to fool anybody, because the only person you may end up fooling is yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. Honorable Emlyn Pear, we'd like to thank you for taking the time. And I know that you have been extremely busy today and must be extremely tired. I ain't selling out your business, but extremely tired. So we will allow you to leave. So we want to thank you so very much for being on with us. We know we can always call on you, and we're thankful.
Anytime, and I want to wish your listeners and your viewers a very good night, and may God continue to bless us all.
Thank you so very much. Yes, indeed, folks, we have been speaking there with the Honorable Emlyn Pear, and quite a bit of information there that I was not aware of, and that's why it's always important to pay attention to what is going on in Parliament, because I'm pretty sure that many of us out here right now had no idea that all of this was taking place. That the government has now said that your child must stay in the school system up to the age of 18. And remember, you have various aspects to that. You have the children who may be repeating, and how they're repeating, they may end up turning 18 while still in the secondary school system. How are you catering for them? While they're down in the secondary school, they haven't moved on to a new or a tertiary institution or so, but they're still within the secondary school system. How do you treat with them? How do you treat with the ones who are leaving school this year? How do you treat with the ones who have left school last year or in 2022, may not be 18 yet, are working? Are you going to tell them, no, it's now illegal for you to be working? That you're supposed to be in school? A lot of thought didn't go into this thing, eh? A lot of thought honestly did not go into this. And I know I'm looking at the comments there, and I'm recognizing that many of you were not aware of what was taking place when it comes to this particular issue. Yeah, so I'm glad that the Honorable Emlyn Pierre was able to bring some clarity in relation to this. Because you're going to bring the school age to 18. You're moving, you bumped it up. Well, not going to, they've done it already, so it's 18 now. But yet still you have not put the mechanisms in place to deal with the additional children who now have to remain within the school system. Yeah, you have not put the mechanisms in place to deal with those. And that is important. You must put the mechanisms. Some schools, as it is right now, are bursting at the seams. So by the time they go, so you're telling me they're going to have to create a Form 6 in some instances, so the Form 5s are going to have to stay back for an additional year when they should have been graduating and so on next year. People who in Form 4 now that are going to graduate next year, then are going and work along with my father in his business and do some training for a couple of years and that sort of thing. They had that option. It's not that they had to do it or they should do it, but at least they had that option that they could do that if they so desire. Now they're being told, no, you must go. You must go. Yeah, so folks, we're going to open the phone lines again. 440-737. Yeah, 440-7377. You can call us on the WhatsApp as well. And we're going to take your calls 347-329-3101. That's for those of you that would like to call us on the overseas line. So you can call us on the overseas line, 347-329-3101. And you can call us on the local line, 440-7377. And I believe we have a call on the WhatsApp. Let's go to the WhatsApp line. Hello, good night. Hello, good night.
Hi, Sheldon.
Hey, how you doing, bro?
I good. Is it 18 or 17?
18.
18?
Yeah.
Listen, I really called to say I really love to hear that day talks. She makes real sense. She talks like for the whole government of Grenada. I cannot understand these people didn't say anything. Look, one show, and that lady is a great person, great, sincere, and genuine, heartical person. And that is what I love about people, Sheldon. I will love about you. Genuineness. This government here don't have none of your qualities. Nothing to bring to the people of Grenada. Please. Thank God. Let it done. This government, let this government out. Because Grenada is going to find herself in a real predicament if you don't have genuine, nice, kind, considerate, and say yes is a yes, a spade is spade. Sheldon, have a good night, yeah?
All right,
Thanks
you so very much. And folks, I just got a message there. And listen, let me say something to the folks who are the activists of the National Democratic Congress. At least if you're going to fake a message by Senator Norland Cox, at least know to remove the watermark of the app that you use when you're making a fake message from Senator the Honorable Norland Cox. Because you all have not removed the watermark that proves that it is fake. And it's been circulated by the, let me see, what's the group there? NDC The Way? Yeah, they're circulating it and so on. But right under his name is the watermark, What's Message, which is an app that you use to spoof fake messages. So at least if you're going to try and deflect, at least if you're going and try to distract from the issue at hand in relation to the messages that are out there, at least know what you're doing now. And it's very interesting because I've been looking at the responses of the minister in relation to this particular issue. Just speaking about the messages out there again. I've been looking at the responses of the minister in relation to this. No time has he denied that it is true. while those of you who may be supporters of the NDC are out there talking about, oh, it's fake and that is not true and who go get sued for defamation, the minister himself has not up to this point in time said that the information contained in those screenshots are fake. He has not said so. And indeed, again, and I'll do so forcefully, it is important that this administration does a thorough investigation into those screenshots. Thorough investigation to ascertain as to whether the information contained in them is factual. Because if it is, it would be a serious case of misbehavior in public office. I think that's a criminal offense. Misbehavior in public office. Yeah? So a serious, I want to investigate, let me investigate that. Serious investigation needs to take place in relation to this. As to whose sexuality and that sort of thing, I see the accusations there. I realize it's a conversation that's sort of raunchy between two men, to each his own or her own or wherever. I ain't getting mixed up in that. But I am saying clearly that if the conversation in there, that can be construed to be misbehavior in public office. And if that turns out to be true, and I really and truly believe that it is true, because a fair public comment, you're seeing it around, the minister has not said it's not he. He has not said it's not true. At least he should come out and say something in relation to it, innit? Yeah? At least come out and say something. And if it is not true, give your device, open your account. We know that you all have guys that have the capability of going into your device. So they can go into your device and allow them to go through the device properly and to find the individual that is attached to the other number and have a conversation with that individual. Find out what the case may be or may not be and so on. And if indeed this conversation and these dalliances and these meetups and so in Craigston and other places were taking place, who driver go in and drop them to have the meetup and these sort of things. If that is the case, it is a serious case of misbehavior in public office. And as such, an investigation needs to be done. Yeah, questions need to be answered. And the Grenadian people, most importantly, the Grenadian people need to be informed. Because we know this administration is afraid to inform the Grenadian people. Yeah? Remember, you have people getting killed, all kind of thing happening to people. No press conference. We're going to talk to all you when we believe all you need to know something. But they know what to have press conference for. They don't care about the mothers who have had to be burying their children over the last couple months. The guys that have been dying in gang violence and so whose mothers, whose sisters and brothers had to go and watch their loved one being put away for the rest of, for eternity. That's it. They are not coming back. They didn't find it necessary to come out and speak about that and inform people. So we are hoping that on this issue, the screenshot issue, yeah, that at least the Grenadian people are informed as to if an investigation is taking place, where the investigation leads in relation to the whole thing. Yeah, I hear a name. Don't worry, my friend. Yeah, I hear that name too. Because if the saying is fake, well, there's an individual, and I think lots of people, I've been hearing from Carriacou all day, hearing, well, this is the person, and so on, that is the people. Yeah, so find the person, speak with them, find out the truth of the matter in relation to this. Were there dalliances at the True Blue? Yeah, go down in True Blue. Come down in True Blue and meet you and this kind of thing. And Mr. Pink? No, there's not Mr. Pink. Who's Mr. Pink? Well, anyway, yeah. I know Mr. Blue or Pink or whatever. Anyhow, but at least inform the Grenadian people. Inform, because again, this is a serious matter. They're not joking thing. I might say make my little joking and between with this thing. But it's a very, very serious matter. This thing is as serious in any other country. Immediately, you would have had a call for an investigation. And the investigation would not be, well, who sent it and who's circulating it and all this kind of thing. That is not important. The important part is the information contained in it. If that information pans out to be true, once that information is true, the minister needs to demit office. The Governor General should call him in and have a word with him. He shouldn't even wait. Just write a letter and say, I resign. Yeah? So, Mr. Minister, because we know all of us listen, and I know most likely you sit down home listening. I know if you lie down next to the lady, because we just hear certain things you can't do when you lie down next to the lady. All of that in the messages we've seen that day. So, I don't know if you lie down next to the lady listening. But the bottom line, no, I don't want to say the bottom line. Let me use another type of, I had to say something. We'll put it another way. But anyhow, make sure and speak to the Grenadian people, especially the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique. The people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique deserve to know the truth in relation to this matter. If it is true, come clean. Say to the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique, come with open hands and say to the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique, and by extension the people of Grenada, that it is true and you are sorry. At least they may look at you differently than if you try to hide, and then afterwards you find out, well, wait, now this thing is true. And those are fair public comments. Yeah, those are fair public comments, because there are several aspects of this that are troubling. People are very, very concerned with what they are seeing there. So, Mr. Minister, stop trying to deflect with all the thing about, I'm too busy doing this, and I'm too busy doing that, and I'm too busy doing the other. No. Why you can't come out and say that is fake? Why you can't come out? Well, you're waiting until the Prime Minister come back to be able to have a conversation with you to decide what it is you're going and say? No, you don't need all of that. If it is fake, come out to the Grenadian people and say to them, hey, this is fake, it's not real. And prove it to them too. Say that you are willing to submit yourself and your devices. You're willing to provide your account to the FIU or some other body, because right now, since FIU being directed by the Attorney General, me ain't trust the FIU at all. I ain't trust them as far as I could pell dispenser. Yeah, I ain't trust, because once the Attorney General telling them what to do, I ain't trust. So probably some other third party, impartial and independent, to do an investigation. So give your devices up. Don't be afraid. Give up your devices. Hand your devices up. And also the devices that are attached to the other number. Yeah? Request it. If you have nothing to hide, if it is not true, if it is false, then come out and say so. Yeah? Stop trying to deflect about you can't be bothered, you're doing this, you can't be bothered, you're doing that. That is disrespectful to the Grenadian people. There are serious, even criminal allegations being made there. Serious criminal allegations are being made there. And as such, look, instead of you all coming out and say something properly, no, I ain't want no bed sheet, are good. You could hold your bed sheet, partner. I don't want, are good. I have enough bed sheet home. Yeah, I don't. Wait a minute. No, I don't want no bed sheet, are good. Yeah. There are serious allegations being made there. People are concerned about it nationally. And as such, some sort of action needs to be taken in relation to it. You hear about all sorts of similar things taking place in the US. And you know what happened? Congressmen or whatever, they step back. They step back, they say, well, okay, something they admit it's true, and they just step back. They take themselves out of the limelight, they take themselves out of public service, or so they go into the private sector and do something. Yeah? They take themselves out. They say, look, they've made a mistake, they're sorry, and they take themselves out. Yeah? You have Wiener and all these other guys. that did things, I mean, similar things, or not so similar, because this one, I ain't lying, Papa. Yes, boys, some people have to walk with a ruler. Anyway, yeah, when it comes to this thing, there are some serious allegations coming out of these documents that you're seeing there. So, Mr. Minister, if you know it's not true, say it's not true. Stop trying to deflect. And worst of all, don't have your people spoofing, because it is, at least tell them that if they're spoofing, learn to take out the watermark. Yeah? No, I'm telling all you, learn to take out the watermark. If you're using the spoofing software, learn to take out the watermark at least. Yeah? Because if you all want to try and tie up Senator the Honorable Nolan Cox, Senator the Honorable Nolan Cox doesn't get involved in them kind of nonsense. So don't try that one. Yeah? Come out with the truth. Don't go and spoof nothing. Anybody see the thing they're circulating, saying that is a message from Senator the Honorable Nolan Cox? Just look under his name. You'll see the watermark of the app that they use to create it. It's easily find. You can find it easily. You Google it and you can see the app there. And it's for spoofing WhatsApp messages and that sort of thing. But one thing with the spoofing software, they can't spoof your number. They cannot spoof your number. Once you see that screenshot with that number there, they cannot spoof your number. So I'm saying, in my mind, I'm saying that it is highly likely, in my view, from what I have seen, that there can be truth to what is there. Yeah? And if somebody want to see it, so what wrong if somebody send it to them? Yeah, it's all over the place. Right? Stop trying to deflect. Stop trying to distract. Stop trying to duck. Yeah? Face the issue head on. Stop trying the nonsense about trying to create with this app and then you put, nah, don't do that stupidness. Don't do that. Yeah? Don't do that. Do the right thing. Yeah? Again, government, you all need to investigate this matter. And I don't think Grenadians should remain silent on this matter. It is a serious one. Yeah? It is a serious one. They need to get to the end. I can't say the other way. They need to get to the end of this. Yeah? They need to get to the end of this. And they need to understand that the Grenadian people are not gullible. They're not foolable. You can't fool them. I think a lot of times these people think that Grenadians dotish. Or they think that Grenadians don't understand things so they could just try and fool them. No. Come out, speak to the Grenadian people. Mr. Minister, if you know it's not you, if you know you're not guilty, come out and say so. And open up your devices. You have nothing to hide, isn't it? If you've got nothing to hide, then come out and give your devices and say, go through the devices. Again, not through the FIU. We ain't trust them. Because the AG does just tell them go and do that and so on. So we ain't trust them. Right? Because the AG sit down in the same cabinet with you, in the same party as you. That's your friend. Or let us go and lime down in Junction. When all already jamming and drinking and drunk on Friday night. Or let us go down there. Let's lime. That's your liming partner. Right? So when all they're going out and lime and all that kind of thing. So we can't trust them to be in charge of an independent investigation of you. And as such, even if it means you have to go extra regionally or regionally to try and find an organization to do a proper deep dive in relation to this issue, do so. Yeah? Give them your cell phone, Mr. Minister. You ain't have nothing to hide. You have nothing to be afraid of, innit? Give them your cell phone. Give them access to your account. The other number that's there, is that number stored in your device? Have you been in communication with that number? Since they like to investigate, you all can go check the bill and see if there is connection, calls between the minister and that number. And you all would be able to investigate properly. But again, we ain't trust FIU to do that investigation. Folks, Folks, this is all the time we have for Talking Points tonight. It's been wonderful being here. Remember, tomorrow night we have on with us Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell, former Prime Minister, political leader of the New National Party, and leader of His Majesty's opposition. He will be on with us tomorrow night, so we're looking forward to that one. And yes, we are having our Friday night forum. Somebody might have to pick me up and drop me. But we're having our Friday night forum. And just before I go, just to remind you all of the annual Tea and Hat Tea Party. And that's taking place on the 30th of June up there on 535 East 19th Street, Newkirk and Ditmas from 3 p.m. till 8 p.m. So that's the annual Tea and Hat Tea Party. Prizes will be given for best male and female dress, $25 for children, $40 for adults. All right, so you can check our good friends out there in the New National Party New York group. Yeah, they're having their annual Tea and Hat Tea Party. So you could go order all your hat, no Shein, Amazon. Order all your hat and thing from now. That's taking place on June the 30th. They're going to have an open bar. So $25 for children, $40 for adults. 535 East 19th Street, Newkirk and Ditmas from 3 p.m. until 8 p.m. Folks, that's all the time we have for Talking Points tonight. It's been wonderful being here. In whatever you say, whatever you do it safe and secure. Want to be speaking to and with you and not about you. Love each and every one of you. And we look forward to tomorrow night's program here, man. We're having Dr. Mitchell on with us. So we're looking forward to that one tomorrow night. Where's my thing here? Yes, it has disappeared. Yeah, just making sure that I have everything in place here. And we are out.
What